state visit in the US context. It's an official visit with a lot more pomp and ceremony. The contents of the visit could have happened even without a state visit. A state visit comes in when the host country, in this case the US, wants to give that kind of an importance, wants to give that kind of it's an honor. Biden has had only 3 state visits so far. He was president from 2021 January. It's 2023. He has had only 3 state visits: the Korean president, the Ukrainian president, and Prime Minister Modi, which tells you why it is a special deal. Having said that, the content of the visit, and you will see the content being rolled out, is a product of the relationship. So the agreements that you would see could have happened even in an official visit. They are just upping the honor quotient. So the most important deliverable, as we all know by now, will be the jet engine deal, the GE 414s, which are going to be used for the Tejas Mark II fighter aircraft that are being built in India. This is important because remember, jet engine technology or jet engine manufacturing is literally the crown jewels of a country. There are only 4 countries in the world that make jet engines, have the capability of making jet engines. The US is one of them, China is not one of them. And the fact that the US is sharing that technology with India amounts to a very big deal. It is a big deal in terms of the trust. It is a big deal in terms of the place where our relationship has gone to. It is a testament to the depth of the relationship. That's the biggest deliverable. We will be seeing agreements in technology, in the technology space, and that is mainly in the ISET, taking forward the ISET agreement that Mr. Doval signed with Jake Sullivan back in January. This covers important, critical, emerging technologies in AI, quantum, etc. You will see agreements, you will see much deeper discussions on AI and AI governance between India and the US. There's one more thing, which is ORAN, a pilot. I think you will be seeing a pilot project on ORAN, which is Open Random Access Networks. This was proposed for the first time in 2021 during the Quad Summit in Washington, DC, which is, if it goes through, this is supposed to be financed by the Development Finance Corporation, the DFC of the US, and will be rolled out in a couple of districts in India, the ORAN project, which is a 5G, 6G telecom transmission project. Now, this is very important because it then reduces dramatically your reliance on hardware, particularly of the Chinese variety. The relationship really started moving on an upward trajectory, not from 2008, but from 98, from a decade prior. After the Indian nuclear tests, it was at that time that both India and the US made a special effort to get to know each other. Remember, for 50 years prior, we were on opposite sides of a geopolitical divide. And that understanding was not easy. We are 2 democracies, 2 very opinionated democracies, and 2 very robust democracies. 2 democracies with a very strong sense of self. If there is a sense of American exceptionalism, there is also a sense of Indian exceptionalism. It has taken America at least 2 decades to comprehend the depth of Indian exceptionalism. Indians have always been able to see a lot more of American exceptionalism because America is a superpower. Yet, for America to make sense of or to appreciate India's own sense of self-worth, it has taken them a while. And it is as in the last 23 years of this particular century, as as global politics has turned, as India has transformed itself from a very poor economy to an economy that is confident of its own technological skills, that is that aspires to become literally a leading power, but on the basis of its technology, on the basis of the values that India comes with, and on the basis of the kind of world that India envisages. And therefore, that all of that to package together with the fact that there is a 4 million strong Indian diaspora in the US, which are literally the most successful diaspora from any country in the world. We used to talk of the Jewish lobby. We are looking at the Indian lobby. There are Indian Americans at the heads of tech companies, at the heads of other companies, Indian Americans in politics, Indian Americans, and it gives them a picture of where Indians come from, which is very different from a picture of where, say, the other power comes from, that is China. Equally populous, equally imbued with a sense of self, with also a civilizational state like India, also an aspirational state, and a sort of a putative superpower. But these are two very different countries with very different societies, very different values. It has also helped that the US is a more humble power today that it wasn't before. The unipolar moment has come and gone, and the US is aware of it. When you look around the world, there is the only other country that appreciates the values that the US used to have or came with, and that is India.